Hello folks, this is activity W2P1 and the plan is to make this 4-bar linkage. I'm going to ignore the dimensions though and uh, yeah. The first thing I do is I save this product file that I created. So file, save management, save as, and that's going to go into my folder. Let me see where it is. Week 2 activities. Yeah, it's going to go into activity 2P1. So the product is going to go there. Now from now on, every time I click on the floppy, everything that I do in here is going to go into that folder and it's going to be updated as the save is carried out. Now let's do the ground first. The ground meaning these two pieces, okay, these two gray pieces. So insert a new part, and I'm going to call this thing the ground. Right click properties. Right click properties. I'm going to change that to ground. Ground. Okay. All right, let's go make it. Double click on that. On a convenient plane, on that vertical plane, I will sketch something that looks like that. Doesn't have to be exactly that, but anyway, we'll do something. Yeah, what's this? Notice that this is not closed, so when I try to pad it, it's going to come back and complain. So I select this, control that, and I close it. Where are these? Right here. Close it. Coincident. Very good. Okay. And while we're here, I'm going to make a circle there. That's going to be kind of the hole. All right. Now there's going to be another one on this side. So let me make something like that, similar to what I did here. It's not closed. That guy control this. We close it. Coincident. Okay. And circle right there. Exit. There we are. We pad it. I'll do it in the other direction, reverse direction. And I'll make this thing maybe 10. Actually, I'll make it 5. Okay, so there we are. These are the bearings. Now we're going to do the crank. This is the crank. AO is the crank. So let me go ahead all the way to the top. Don't forget to save. Click on the floppy. So insert a new part. Say no. I'm going to call this thing crank. Why don't I call this thing? Oh yeah, I'll call it crank. Crank. Right. Properties. Crank. And crank. Okay, let's go make it. Double click. All right. So on that plane, I will sketch a circle that size. So you know what? I'm going to project it instead. Project that circle there. And I proceed making the rest of it. So where's the normal view here? There's the normal view. And then we can make the rest of it. So let me I can use an elongated hole if I wanted to. That's good. I'll use that. So this is centered. if I need to change the size, I'm going to do that later. Actually, you know what? I will make this thing a little bit longer. And that one, yeah, okay, cancel that. You know what? What I'm going to do is I make this thing a little bit bigger radius than what's this says 0.1. I'll make this 0.1, maybe 0.12 or something. So dimension this. I'll show you what I have in mind later in a minute. So that is actually that radius. So I'll make it maybe 0.12, maybe more. Because I wanted to enclose that circle that you see there. Make it 1.5. How about that? Wow, what was it? 1.5. Okay, that's good. There's a reason I did it like this. I'll come back and talk about it. Actually, I want this thing to be even longer. So let's go here. Let's dimension this. I'll drag it. Let me see now. Yeah, that's going to be my crank. Very good. Now there is a reason that I did it like that. I wanted this circle, this projection circle to be inside of this elongated hole because I want to draw another circle on the side. Now, what I would like to do is I want this thing to be, this end to be a pin and this end to be a pin also. What does that mean? If I padded this thing as it is, what happens is that it's going to come back and say there's going to be holes there. In fact, I can try it. So let me exit. I'm going to delete it in a minute once I pad it. So let me make this thing maybe 5. You see, it became a hole. I don't want this thing to be, although it works as a mechanism, but I don't want it to be a hole. So what I will do instead is I use a multipad right there, multipad. It says that there are three curves here. For example, this one is the big one over here, the big periphery. And if I make it a 0, it's not going to pad it. But I'm going to make this thing maybe uh, let me make it as maybe 4 millimeter, four. Okay, so it pads it like that. Maybe even make it smaller, 3. Preview. Okay, that's fine. Now this one, it says 0. That's why it made it a hole. If I don't want it to be 0, for example, I'm going to make it 7. See what happened here? It's going this way, right? Going that way. Fine. Okay, then that's and this other one down here, also I don't want it to be a hole, so let me make another 7. So what happens is I get something like that. Okay, that's why I multiply. Now it is true that I will turn this thing around and stick it into that hole, but anyway, we'll worry about it later on. Now uh it takes care of this. You know what? Actually, I will make this thing a hole. That's okay. I'll make this thing a hole. Let's go back to this multipad. Let's go back to that multipad. I think this is the one up there. I'll make it a 0, so that is a hole. 0. Good. So there's a hole up there, and there's a pin over here. Okay, very good. Now, all the way, click on the floppy so that we save everything. Oops. All the way to the top, all the way to the top, floppy. Okay. Now, uh, then I'm going to make the other one. There's going to be this link. This is the follower. This is the follower, and this is the coupler. Okay, so let's do the coupler first. Okay, so let's do this one first. So all the way to the top, right? Insert new part, and I'm going to call it coupler. Coupler is that AB. Okay, so let me change this thing to AB. Coupler. It couples the crank with the driver, or yeah, rocker. Yeah. So let's see now. Coupler. All right, let's go make it. And once again, on that face, on this face, I will sketch this face. Sorry, Control Z. I put some dimensions there. I didn't mean it. So on that face, I will sketch. Good. Now I will project that circle. So that's a place to start. So I'm going to take this circle and project it. There we are. And I can do the rest of it. Again, I'll use the why don't I use the elongated hole. Oh, look, where's the other guy? Okay, right there, maybe. All right. So, and I will draw a circle over there. So I'll make two pins, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to do multi path. So exit, do a multi path, not a path, multi path. Okay, this one is the big periphery. Why don't I make this thing 5 or 4? And then this one is the thing on that side. I'll make that thing, I don't know, maybe 5. Let me see. I'll make you maybe more. Maybe make it 8 so you can see it sticking out of the other end right there. And this one also, I'll make it 8. There we are. So that is going to go into that hole. And this is going to go into the hole of the driven link. So all the way to the top, insert, new part. No, I'm going to call this thing driven. I'll call it BC. How about that? Properties, BC link. And this is the BC link. Okay, let's go make it. Double click on it. So I'll make my job really easy. I will, on that, for example, yeah, on that, well, let me see for a second. On that face, I will sketch. Why don't I project these two circles? Project this circle and that circle. Oh, I can do that separately. There we are. And then I do the elongated hole. Go to the center of that. Sure, why not? Exit. One of these I want to be a pin, the other one to be a hole. Okay, so I do a multi-path. That sketch. This is the big periphery, so I'll make this thing be 4 just like the other one. That is the one on the top. I want it to be a hole, so I'll just leave it at 0. And this is the one at the bottom. I want it to be a pin. I'll make it, I don't know, maybe 8. There we are. Okay. So go all the way to the top, click on the floppy, and everything is going to get saved. Now, The only thing I'm going to do is fix this. At this point, I'm going to fix that ground, and then I move everything away so that you can see what happened here. So here's the move, manipulate. Let's, for example, do a translation. I'm going to translate this, and I'm going to translate that. Okay, maybe a little bit more. Let me move this thing in that direction. Very good. Okay, good. First of all, if you don't want to see your planes here, the easiest way is to say Control F, type here plane, find and select right here. See that? Search and select. And then when they're found, I'm going to hide them. It's just that it's a nuisance for this problem. Good. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and assemble it. So I want this pin to go into that hole. So coincident between that axis and this axis, and coincidence between this plane and that plane, and update. If I don't see update here, you can do Control U. This is there probably somewhere. Okay, so it is actually updated. However, let me double click on this last constraint that I did here. This last one. And you see these, say more. You can say same or opposite. That's one way of doing it. Or you can flip one of these arrows. Okay. And notice that it ended up in the right spot. Okay. That's the way I wanted it to be, right? That's the way I wanted it to be on this side. Good. Now let's take this pin and put it in that hole. So another coincidence between this pin, this axis, and that axis, and a coincidence between this plane and that plane. And if it doesn't look good, we flip the arrows. So if I double click on this, flip the arrows, see how it came out? That's better. Okay. Now let's put this pin in that hole. So coincidence between this pin and that hole. And let's do this. So this pin and that, this axis and that axis, and another coincidence between this and that. And if it doesn't look good, let's flip the arrows. Now it's a lot better. Okay. Now all we have to do is to put this pin in that hole. Yeah? Yeah. The only thing is that I just noticed that the way this is set up, I want it to be different. This I don't like. So let's see now. Is it this one? Now that one? The next one? Flip the arrows. Do that. Okay, that's better. Close. Okay, so I want to put this pin inside of that hole. So coincidence between this axis and that axis. Let's see. Ooh, that looks good. Okay, so let's try a couple of things. First of all, one way to check whether everything is working fine or not, or at least have more confidence, is this. Let me collapse these. Okay. First of all, let's save everything. All right. So if you go to move, manipulate, check this box. So keep the constraints acting, and then rotate, for example, about this axis. Let's see what happens. Just watch. Yeah? So we have our forward bar linkage working the way it's supposed to. Now, I guarantee you, if I go and separate these and update it, it's going to go back to that configuration. So let's go ahead and do that. Now that I have a confidence, click on it. So let's uncheck that, uncheck this, and let's move stuff. For example, I'm going to translate this thing in Y, maybe a little bit of it in Z. Don't do too much because it could be that you're going to run into problems, okay? There, and let's do a little bit of rotation. That's a rotation. This is a rotation. Is a rotation. Basically, I managed to really screw it up. If I update, they should go back to where they belong. There. See that? That means we have done this activity. Remember, right now, we don't have a mechanism. The purpose of this course is show you how to put physics into the problem. For example, how do you specify the angular speed of this crank? And based on that, these will move, and you can find the velocity, acceleration, whatever that you want. So that takes care of this activity. Good luck.